Sorry, I'm eating cookies. I just wanted to address this too, because I hear a lot of people who be saying like they don't want to bother God, or they don't want to make it seem like they only go to him when they need something, or they don't want to inconvenience him. Stop that. Take that out of your thinking. Take that out. If you gonna bug anybody, if I'm gonna bug anybody, I'm gonna bug God. And it says it somewhere in Luke. I don't know the exact verse, but there's a verse in Luke where he talks about an evil judge. Well, a judge who is worldly, whatever. Who basically, he not in evil, he not dealing in heaven. Basically, he just follows the laws according to his own will. You know, somebody who's just according to carnal standards. Anyway, he talks about a woman bugging this judge to the point where eventually he just gives her what she wants because she's been so consistent in her pursuit of it, coming to the judge. So he gives that example as God being God. If this worldly judge will give you what you want based off of just your consistency, God of God, your Father, the one who loves you, that's who you come to. Of course he gonna come. He basically what he's saying is bug me. Be consistent about it. And I know sometimes we contradict the verses, because he have another verse that basically says he heard you the first time. And yeah, I know. You heard me the first time. But to put it in perspective, it's like having your children. I have a daughter, and she's going to be grown soon. And although I do pray that we have continue to have a close relationship, you know, I don't know what her life is going to take her, what God is going to have for her life. But I know I would appreciate it. Even if all she ever called me for was needed something, I would still appreciate the fact that she's calling me, that she knows who to call when she's in a pinch, that she knows who to call. Because the reality is, so many of us call on so many other people, so many other things, so many other worldly and carnal people who can't do nothing, who ain't got God's power. People call on the enemy, people call on their friends, they call on their mama, they call on everybody else, and won't bug God because they feel like, well, I don't want to bug him. And I'm going to say bug. I'm going to use that word, because bug him. I don't care if you prayed for something this morning and it's noon, and if it's on your spirit, then call him. And it's not to say that you don't have faith, but have that conversation. Start with that conversation and let your faith grow from there. But you start with, that's who you go to. You don't rely on yourself. That's I hate that argument. I'm going to say hate it, because again, it's the enemy. When people say, I don't want to bother God with that. So what? You going to make a way? That's, I almost said a word. That's silly is the word that I'll use. That's a silly thing to do. Because if I'm going to let anybody handle it, I'm going to let the one who can handle it at the snap of his fingers with one breath, and it is done, and it is so. That's who I'm going to let handle it, unless he says otherwise. Unless he says, daughter, I can do this. I want you to do this. You do this, that. And either way, it's still going to have to work through him. So why would you not go to him? I'm going to go to the source. I'm going to go to the one who has the power to handle it first. And if he directs me someplace else, then I'll go there. But you don't do that. Don't never let nobody make you think that. You can't bug God. You can't irritate God. God already knows what's in your heart, and he has the power to soothe it. He has the power to soothe your anxiety. The Bible actually says, be anxious in nothing, but in everything through prayer and thanksgiving. Bring your petitions to God. Through everything, with everything. Anything that's on your mind, bring it to God. Don't you sit there and be nervous about how you gonna figure it out. Do you know how many times I have taken a nap this last, I'm going to say 18 months? I have literally taken naps. And I mean, I've had heavy stuff that's fallen in my lap. Heavy stuff. Stuff where it's going to have to be God, because it can't be Bree. It's going to have to be God. Because there ain't no other way, Lord. You are the way maker. And you know what I'll do is I'll take a nap. God know I need this. And I'll go straight to sleep. I needed a car. My car was out of sorts, and I needed a car. And I remember I came home, I was like, man, God know I needed a car. God know I need a car. You know I need a car. I put that movie on. I fell asleep. When I woke up to a phone call from one of my relatives from out of state. I hadn't talked to her in like 6 months. She called me like, it's been on my spirit to get you a car. And got me a car, y'all. And not only any car. God made sure I got the car that, made sure I was in something in accordance to, God likes to stunt. He really do. God likes to flex. So he put me in something that he can flex with. So anywho, I just wow us. He likes to make us happy. He likes to remind us that he is God, and he does that through the opportunities that we give him to show that he is God. He don't need us to show what we can do in our own standards. Don't nobody care what Colibri can do, because Colibri can't do nothing without God. So why would I ever put myself in that position? I don't want to bug God, so I'm going to just handle it. No, God handle it. I want to do what you told me to do. That's what I want to do. I want to focus my energies on the things that God told me to do, like using the gifts that he put in me. Those are the things, because that's the thing. A lot of us ignore what God put in us because God has a purpose for all of us. And what I find is there are a lot of people who will ignore those purposes to focus on worrying about survival. Because the enemy told you that there's something you need to do. And even if you know that there's something that God is able to do and willing to do, now the enemy that told you that somehow you are a burden to him by requesting there's something that he can do, and literally, and it's done. Already worked out. Half the time it's already worked out. He's just waiting on you to come. So don't do that. Don't do that. Just go to God. Every need, go to God. Bye.